pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Adequate notice of the meeting to be held on July 9th, 2019 at 7 p.m. in Edison Township Council Chamber has been provided by publication in the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, Criterion, and Sentinel. Tap into Edison and Municipal Clerk of Edison Township, as well as WCTC Radio and Cable Vision of Raritan Valley.
Okay, Board President, the first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of previous meeting.
Is anyone has any question?
Just say that here.
All are in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I'll
Make
make
a
a motion that I'll make a motion that we approve the board.
Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. So it is approved. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, number 3, reports. First report, large A, financial reports. Small a, the trustee account report.
Anyone has any question?
Okay. The next item, small b, approval of bill listing.
Anyone has any objection or any question?
I do have a question. I don't see, I know we were supposed to get an Amazon card. I see nothing about the Amazon card. Where would that be located?
Jen, can you please explain?
Oh, we haven't opened a blanket for Amazon individually, separately. So whichever we do, for example, if we pay from Amazon for children's program, we added for children's program item. It's not like separate. If you like, I can open a blanket for separate for Lois card and Amazon card. I mean, that's very clear for you.
Yes, I would like that.
Actually, we talked about this afternoon. I think that's a good idea if we make it more clear for bookkeeping purpose.
Because I would like to know where is the money coming from and what specifically was the Amazon card and/or Lowe's card used for?
Yeah, we open a blanket for that. Then, the easier. So for this time.
So it's not on the.
So now this time I didn't pay a lot, just some summer program like board games and some pouch for our hotspot.
But what I'm asking is where is that bill listed? If we paid for something, it should be listed somewhere.
Yeah, it is. It's listed, let me see which where. It's under
Right, but that's what I'm asking is
programs,
where is it
under
So
summer reading supplies, like that, the part of it. And some of them haven't done yet, so it's not on this bill yet.
that's on which? The bill listing for approval?
Summer reading supplies, some of them is from Amazon card.
No, you're not understanding me. Is it on the bill listing for approval?
It's on the bill listing
Okay,
over
and
here.
what line number?
It's less than
Thank you. Okay, I see it.
500, less
Thank
than
you.
200.
Yeah, but in the future, if we could have a listing for just
Yeah,
the
that'd be
Amazon
good.
card and
Okay.
Lowe's card as to what they were for and the amounts that they were,
That's-
and the total amount each month of what's on the card.
Sure, no problem.
And make sure we're paying it in full, hopefully.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
I would also recommend when we're using the Lowe's credit card, the township has to stay under a limit of 17,500. So if you could,
We only have 500 lower.
Okay.
5,000 lower, yeah.
so a 5,000 like credit limit or?
Yeah, credit.
Okay, so if you spend more than 17,500 in an aggregate period over 1 year, it has to go up for a bid. So
Yeah, understood. We
So-
never,
if you can have an aggregate amount year to date, then we can know where we're at. So let's just say I know we just opened it right now, so we probably won't hit it, but it would be beneficial from even now to start writing the year-to-date total, so you know where you're at. Because we can't go to 17.5, more than 17.5 at all. And if we do.
yeah,
we
absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
We'll pay attention on that, right?
Now, would that apply also to Amazon?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Okay. So most probably Jan will update us.
So
Motion
we
to
need a
approve?
motion, yeah.
Motion to approve?
Actually, that doesn't make sense,
Okay.
because Amazon card and Lewis cards just are a way to pay. They're not actually this thing. It's particular
Well, they're
item.
only good for those
That does not
specific
apply,
stores.
because these two are just a method of payment. They're not actually, it's not an aggregated, so you can bid on it. So if you order a pencil, yes, if you order more than $17,500 worth of pencil, then yes, you will need to
The
go through a bidding process. But Amazon and Lewis are just a method of payment.
So if it's
Any particular item, yes, but not
But if-
for the method of
Just to
payment.
clarify, Lowe's is one vendor, so the 17.5 cap applies to purchases on the Lowe's card because they're made from Lowe's. You're buying from Lowe's. With Amazon, you have different vendors, so it's different rules. You just can't spend 17.5 purchasing from one particular vendor.
That's correct. Yeah.
If it's all Amazon, that's the vendor, then you have the but there are
Yes.
other vendors as well.
Which is why I'm just saying if we can have a year-to-date, that would help clarify whether we're even getting close to it.
All right, I was just asking her, referring to her, what she said we had a $5,000 limit, and she said that they would increase it. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. When you had stated they had a $5,000 limit on it, and she informed me that it could go up in price or whatever, they could offer you more credit, a higher amount, which I hope that we just don't, it would have to come before the board before you would raise that next amount anyway. It would have to come before all of us, because that's the amount that's set right now.
Yeah. So, any other questions?
Yeah, I just had a quick question, actually. In our last meeting, we had talked about moving, I think long time back, we had passed a motion, and that's the reason we were charging the WB Mason onto the trustee
I
account.
believe the voice is not coming good from the,
I think in the last
microphone.
meeting, we had talked about, there was a resolution passed long time back about charging WB Mason onto our trustee account, and we talked about redoing it and moving it back to. So you want to do it in this meeting, or you want to wait till next?
Well, the question is, does Jane have a list of specifically what's being charged through the trustee account and what isn't, so that we can do this
Trustee
properly?
account from W. Mason is only the toners, for my understanding, and the other things we still use the PO. And I sent my people to try to find the original minutes you did like years ago, but since we don't know which year you made that decision, and I don't have electronic version of the old minutes, or so I cannot find exactly where you make the decision. But if you want to change back to the PO, I think now is the time.
Okay, you make a motion for that.
Yeah, I would
But
make
why
a-
don't we finish the bill listing and then move on? We can-
Okay, sounds good.
yeah, motion to approve?
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone in oppose? So approved. Thank you.
Do you want to do that now, Joyce? Do you want to
Yeah.
make that motion now?
Yeah. I make a motion that we move the WB Mason back to the regular account.
I second that.
Specifically for
All
the
in
toner.
favor?
Excuse me?
Specifically spending for the toner.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Thanks, approved.
Okay.
The next item on the agenda is the director's report.
All right, I think this, last month, I read my highlights. I think I get some good feedback, but I don't want to read all because that's too long. I want to emphasize we are doing really good on our summer reading programs right now. And I put the June 30th for the number. Right now, for today, I checked the number again, and we have in total adults more than 176, children over 1,096. YA, we have 134 registered for our reading programs already. Some of the numbers already exceed last year, so it's really a good. It's only and also it's only at the beginning of July, so we still have 2 months to go. I think this year my staff, children librarians, adults librarians, really doing a very good job. And we're going to have UN World War II exhibit this coming Saturday. I would really welcome everybody to come this Saturday. We have some performance coming also. Start at 10:30, and we have the first director's son going to give us a guest speaker, so give us some story about that library, which is called Roosevelt Library in China. So if you guys have time, really do sincerely welcome you come to join us on this Saturday, 10:30.
Excuse me, I know you didn't, the director's report, if we could just leave one copy on the table if the people come in early, because the people were interested in it. When you read it last time, some people seemed to really enjoy it. So if we could just put one on the table, so when they
Sure,
come
yeah.
in, you know, they can peruse it. The people that can come in early, they can peruse it, they can look through it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that's, if that's all right, yes.
Some more things I want to say is our IP phone is on the way. The township is helping us to install, but it's not that, it's slow, it's not that fast, because we finished CB, but we haven't done the conference room, because my plan is each conference room should have a phone also. And since we, but it's on the way, okay. And wireless printing is on the way too, because I contact the other libraries and get LMAX approved also, and we're going to have the wireless printing. So people now from home can use their phone, but just download app on their phone so they can schedule which location, which branch they want to go to schedule the printing, and when they come to the library, so they can pay on the machine and then get their printouts. So that's the thing we're going to do. And talking about the adults program, because we always emphasize the children's. So adults program on every branch, every month we have, I put that number in the first page, because for Maine we have in total 23, North we have 28, CB we have 9. Total we have 60 programs. People who participate is over 600 for this month, for June. And also for CB, last time I remember some people talking about our programs. We do have like robotic programs. We do have STEM or STEAM programs. We do have those for teens and also movie programs. And my branch head is here too. If you need more concern about CB, I recommend you to come to visit us. And we do have a lot of programs just for our, the neighborhood.
I have 2 questions. New website design, how we are doing that?
We are doing very well. My branch head is leading the team. Last month, I already reported we get started, and now we're doing our survey, so people who give us the feedback, and then we can go next step to go that.
Are we including any high school kids to give their ideas?
We send out the survey to everybody, including adults, including teens, including everybody who concern our
Because we-
library.
yeah.
So if they have anything they want to
The new generation
suggest,
can give
they
us a
can
better
give us,
idea.
their feedbacks, yeah.
Okay. And
And-
work performance evaluation.
Performance
when it will be
evaluation,
done?
we're talking about from our audit report from last year. We haven't done that for many years. So from this year, we're going to start. It's already, some department already started. So the supervisor, we send out the self-evaluation first to every staff. They do fill out the self-evaluation form and then come to their supervisor to do the evaluation. After that, they can hand in the forms to us.
When we are expecting?
We already started.
Okay.
Probably a month we need
Okay,
to
thank
get
you.
everybody done.
Anyone has any other question?
Actually, yes, you said you sent out a survey to everyone. I did not receive any. I never saw the survey. Could you please forward it to the board?
Let my lead the web is.
Hi everyone, my name is Shan Shan. Nice to see you again. I'm the branch head for Clara Barton, and I will lead the website redesign program. So currently we're in phase 1. We are finalizing our survey. So it has not been sent out yet. Starting next Monday, we're going to test with all the staff members, including the board members. After we gather feedback, and then we will post it online, and so everybody can see it. So we hope we can get enough feedbacks by the end of August. So, and then based on the feedback, we will have probably 2 sessions of focus group. So you mentioned you are interested to know the YA opinion. So I will make sure we will have a focus group meeting with YA, and another one will with adults, patrons, and to gather both of the feedback from both groups. So, our plan is to finalize the new website by the end of this year. Because currently we have our IT staff member participating in this project. We also have 1 adult librarian and a children's librarian in this group. So only 4 people of us. And none of us are professional website designers. So we'll be learning, and I'm pretty confident we'll get there by the end of this year.
Yeah,
If you have any questions, yeah, feel free to ask.
I would like, before any surveys or anything to go out, for the board, to have a look. So when people ask us, like, what's going out, when it's happening, whatever, so we won't be sitting around going like, I don't know exactly what they're doing.
Definitely, that's
yeah.
the plan. Next month, I believe next Tuesday, we will send a survey to your email.
Okay, because I know the board needs to see these different things that's going on. That's the purpose of us, so that, because we interact with the community and they like to know, like, what's going on inside. You can tell.
I understand.
Whatever. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, so please, before we move on with certain projects and stuff like that, please, bring it to the board so we can know what's happening, all right?
Sure, no
Thank you.
problem.
Thank you.
Also, have you guys are visiting different libraries to see their websites? How?
We do. We have been visiting a couple of websites. We also have been contacting Princeton, ask for their opinions when we start our project. So yeah, the IT person at Princeton has been helping a lot. And also the director has sent me to a NJ State Library workshop for website redesign for public libraries. Yeah,
Good.
so
Okay.
we're pretty good on that.
Thank you.
Just a question. Where was this survey sent out to, and where did you get the list from to send it out from?
So we have a mailing list, our newsletter. We will send through that mailing list. It's called Constant Contact. I believe we have over 10,000 people sign up for that thing. And also we will post the survey link on our website too. And we will also have print copies ready at each locations. And because we know some people are not doing good with computers, so they can fill out the paper, and then we will ask a staff member to manually input the data to our database.
So that list of 10,000, where did that come from, though?
So We have the newsletter link on our website. People can choose to join our mailing list when
Okay.
they sign up for a new library card.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yep.
So everybody can join us on the website. You can, if you want to join our mail list, you just put your email there, it will be in our list.
You may get help from the school board director because they have a bigger list because each parents are getting those emails from there. So maybe you can contact with the school board director.
You mean the
he or she
education
can help,
board?
yeah, because education board, yeah, because they are sending, near about every week something, and everyone is, receiving. So you don't have to collect the email addresses.
I think that last year I mentioned that when you have a library card, you may provide your email address. So with that list, we have all of the patrons that's using the library. So we do have the contact information.
Right.
Yeah, we send to our patron first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to congratulate you, Jane, and your team, actually, because the numbers don't lie. And I'm looking at the children's program. We've nearly hit 12,000 for the self-checkout for the children department. The circulation is like close to 53,000. Library visits are up. And I can proudly say that Clara Barton, once we converted it to full-time, it's heading in the right direction. We are hitting like nearly 3,000, given with all the challenges that particular library has for parking and everything. But congratulations, the
Thank
numbers
you.
look very good, and numbers don't lie.
Thank you. Talking about self-checkout, I wonder if we can prove to buy another one for CB. So far, we only have 2 for North, which is very old for children department. For May, basically the 2 one I got is from East Brunswick. They have the new upgraded ones, so I get their old ones. So I know it's expensive for each machine, but I think it's necessary. Maybe in the future we can consider that. Have one self-check at least for
How
each location.
expensive it is? Is it like around 40,000?
No, it's about 10 to 20.
Why don't you get all the details and present it to
Yeah.
board, and
Okay,
then you could
great.
take it from there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, give it to, I
So present it
think,
at the next board meeting.
yeah, facility committee, give it to them and let them fix it because it is related to the facility, so.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the budget report.
Anyone has any question on the budget?
What percentage, how far are we on the budget?
We are 45% right now, but in one place, electrical light and communication, we crossed the 129%. And in conference meetings, 150%. What, Jen, can you explain that?
Yeah, that is like the electrician from township. We changed some parts, I guess. My supervisor is here if you want to ask. That's 0. That's in total is 7,000 that we spent in June. Electrical work at May, North, outside electrical work, lightning for May, Clara Barton electrical work, North Edison electrical work. Basically, it's electrical work, that's why. And also next year, I want to put more for the conferences and meetings.
The question is here that why it is not in the plan, because we have approved
'Cause last year we
5,500.
don't-
One second, please. We had a 5,500 we approved, and we are spending more. That's the question is coming, so whether our planning was not good?
No, which means last year we didn't replace any parts, and this year we spend that.
Okay.
And next year, maybe we don't spend, just one-time shot.
So this kind of experience, basically, it can fluctuate year from year. So if we save last year, this year, maybe it's time for us to spend more. That's-
Yeah, for example, for the conferences and meetings, next year I'll put more money there for our staff training.
Yeah, I want, you to put the, more money there, so we don't have to go on a
Yeah. This
accident.
is based on last year, so this year I have
Yeah,
more
so your projected budget would be
projected, they
what-
can
would
get,
be
yeah,
much higher
adjusted,
because-
like
yes.
more reasonable.
So the next one is computer hardware and software. So we are spending more in the first half of the year for something like, because I saw it's 67%.
Remember last month you approved for my 20 computers, that's the one.
That's included in this one?
I think, David, it's more because we approved the phones.
Okay.
So the
Yeah.
phone will
Phones
also
too,
hit there.
right.
Yeah. on-
Right?
yeah.
But overall, we're still within our budget limits,
Yes,
actually.
we
are, running a very tight ship, if you look at the last numbers.
So what I'm saying is that the next half year, we're not expecting any big expenditure from this item,
We
right?
can, we can adjust or,
Yeah.
Okay.
and open more, another
two-
blanket for it if
Right.
needed.
Two items are showing zero, like motor vehicle maintenance, so looks like our vehicles are very good. No maintenance. And the professional association dues, what, we have 0% there. So 5,000 we have there. Why?
Which
When it is due?
What?
The,
Number 10.
Line 10. Is 0%.
Professional association,
Dues.
yeah, it's like the membership fee, everything, we haven't, nothing due yet, so
When
we
it
haven't
is
spent
due?
yet. I don't know, I need to check.
Okay, yeah, please bring it next time, because we need to know that if we are keeping the money there, if we can use that for some other things, we should use it. If we are not going to spend that, at the year end, we should not be waiting for that. That's just my suggestion. Any other question from anyone?
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the report of the Trustees Policy Committee.
All right, well, the Policy Committee has been busy. Most recently, you received a draft of the meeting rooms policy, where we basically, if you are looking on the website, you'll see that the information is listed under 3 different areas. Our goal is to gather it all together into one spot, so it's one policy. And we did have a few questions that we are addressing, and we should have a completed one for our review for the September meeting. So, and then also we clarified, you may recall, we had a discussion at the last meeting about creating a policy for photography and videos in the library, and then also along with social media. So we've determined that we really need 2 separate policies, one for taking photos and videos in the library, and the other one for social media. So we'll be working on that as well, and with the focus on meeting room. So
Thank
that's
you.
it for the policy.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the Trustees Bookmobile Committee report.
Neville?
So I know there's a lot of buzz around the mobile library. We have a budget going on right now. We have got a lot of feedback. We have found a vendor who can fabricate it within New Jersey. We plan to have a mobile library which will not require a CDL license, but with the new budget numbers that we have, we should be able to have 2 separate mobile libraries, one which would serve the North Edison and one which would serve the South Edison. But I would leave it to our director's better judgment on how she will span it out. But right now, we are on track to have 2 of them as time moves forward. We are waiting for a feedback as to what we need in this mobile library, what the layout is going to be, how many books, things like that. So we're waiting on that feedback. Once we have those things in, we should be able to move forward pretty quick.
Anyone has any question?
Okay, next item on the agenda is the Trustees Facilities Committee report.
All right, so the Facilities Committee met last week, and we also appreciate the fact that we now have a Facilities Committee. We reviewed the strategic plan. We really decided that after looking at the strategic plan, we have to focus on the repairs before we do any other kind of upgrades. It's not that in our strategic plan we do have that we want to upgrade and improve the appearance of all of our libraries, but before we do that, it's really more responsible for us to take care of repairs. If you have been following, those of you who have been following, we have repairs really, about Clara Barton, we've been discussing quite some time. We also have repairs needed at North Edison, and we need to take care of those first. That's our primary goal at this point. And we will be meeting to discuss and determine what kind of improvements we want to see happen at the locations, so that we can move forward and budget for those, but we can't do that.
So one question is, North Edison and Clara Barton building is the responsibility of the township. So you guys are talking with them? Because whatever the floor position is going down,
Yes.
it need to be done and fixed by the township. It's not by the library budget. And I would like
after
to
last
request Mr. Our
After last
councilman
week
to
we
speak
meet,
it.
Pat, I contacted the township engineering, so they came to visit Monday, with my supervisor, ground supervisor. So if you can get some feedback from the township engineer, his suggestion, I
yes.
think.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Like Jane just said, I met with the township, with John. He's from the building department. He went over the North Edison Junior Room with me. He said that they met sometime about 1.5 years ago. I wasn't part of that meeting. I think, Neville, he mentioned your name. There was an engineer from New York City that came. He told me what they recommend is to have a contractor come in, a mason contractor come in with a machine to sand the floors down evenly. We also talked about looking into having the floor pinned to the foundation, which I think is a great idea because that would eliminate any kind of sinking of the floor anywhere if we could pin it to the foundation. So I do go away 100% with that one. Then everything else is cosmetic, which we can do in-house, grout, we do the grouting in the bathrooms, fix the cracks in the walls, do the painting. But I do agree with that. I think that's where we should try to move along with, getting the floor done. Why I'm up here, I don't know if you want to ask me any questions about that, and if you want to move on to Clara Barton, why I'm here, I can also do that.
Yeah, so you're saying that they are going to fix that floor issue there?
Well, when I talked to John, he's going to give me he was going to recommend somebody. He hasn't given me the information on that yet to call anybody, but he was going to give me the information.
So actually, let me give you a little bit of a brief background on that. Long time back, more than 3-4 years back, the town spent nearly $25,000 getting a report on this thing. This issue has been lingering around for very long. Yes.
I have it.
And that was to the end of it. We have not seen anything happen thereafter. Last year, when Esther brought this issue up to our attention, we did get a few people in there, convince them to come in, take a look at the report, see the present condition, and see where we stand with it. That's how John gave you that report. The question happens is at this time, we do have a solution, and I was just wondering if Councilman Joshi can tell us if he's going to work with the city to make sure that these things get taken care of.
Sure. I actually reached out to the engineering department, I would say about 3 or 4 months ago on this. They said that they were going to get quotes to see, and they also wanted to see what type of insurances they could possibly leverage. I haven't heard back from them, but I will follow up on it.
Sounds good. Hopefully, we'll keep on going after this every meeting, and hopefully we'll see some results.
Yeah. See, mainly my concern is we don't want to, because what my understanding from the city is this is the responsibility of the township, so it should not impact our budget, so we can use our budget for the improvement instead of fixing the infrastructure.
I understand. I'll bring it up the next council meeting, and I'll follow up with it too. I'll have an update for you by the next meeting.
Thank you.
And
I think that most people are frustrated because this has gone on for
Yes.
such a long time, and we keep revisiting this over and over again.
Yes, we
and,
do.
You know, so I'm hoping that you can move it that much faster, Mr. Joshi,
Sounds good.
Councilman Joshi.
And Mr. President, if it's okay with you, I'd like to get added to the Facilities Committee, so I can
Yeah.
follow up on this.
Okay.
And I would also like to be part of that somehow. I mean, I am the building and ground supervisor, so I do know my buildings. So I would really like to get together with you
know what?
guys and
That's an excellent idea.
talk about
If that's
everything.
all
I
right
really
with you,
would.
I think it would be
Yes.
wonderful
Yeah.
to have you
Yeah.
Okay.
join the
All
committee.
right,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
very good.
Yes, well, yes, that we're also right on top of what the repairs that are needed for Clara Barton. Because once again, that's something that has been going on for a very long time. So we want to take care of these things before we do any other cosmetic repairs.
Right. I talked to John about CB also, when he was going to also get me some recommendations of contractors that we can call. I had recommended to John to do away with the windows up there and just board it up, put siding on and fix the inside with sheetrock and stuff, so we don't have this problem in the future. He agreed with that, but we did talk about it, and he was going to give me, get in touch with me with contractors to get in touch with. So we are moving
That'd be
along.
excellent.
It's just
That
a
would be
matter,
excellent.
it takes time for the contractors and everything to come
Right.
out and give us estimates and stuff like that.
Yeah, we'd like to be able to check this off.
Yes, we want to check
Yeah.
it off our
Right,
list.
exactly.
all right?
I would love to check it off my list, so I
Yes,
can put
because
this away.
I mean, because it's ridiculous that that this long, and that the engineers from the township, I don't know how long our liaison, Councilman Josie, should have known about this from the beginning, because we've been talking about this for the longest. And, we need the township to get busy with this, because the longer we prolong this, the higher the prices go up.
And I want it to look good on me. On the building guy, I want it to look good on me, my buildings,
all
right?
All
Thank you.
right.
Yeah.
You're
Thank
welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have one request to the facility committee. Please bring A to Z list of whatever the recommendation you are getting from either from the public or your views. So we can sit and define, prioritize which are the few things we can complete. The last time, Flores, she said that we should fix at least one thing at a time. So, that's the public's demand, that we should start fixing something instead of, doing a lot of analysis on it.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, next item on the agenda is unfinished business. Item A, Energy Savings Program.
So we have TSLE Energy retrofit.
I'm sorry, are we going to have presentations again? Is that what? Okay, so could we have first TSLE and TSLE Energy Retrofit Subsidy Program representative? Or,
I work for the township.
I'm not sure exactly what.
What TSLE?
I had a number of questions, however, I was just presented with a package of information, and I'd like to review that. I think that might address that. I'm going to pass these out, because I think it would take too long to present them verbally. And if you have any questions, you could contact me about it. And this is a summary. So, I've been working with this energy conservation programs for the past 10 years with success. I'd like to continue to work with that, since it is a township building, although you are trusted. Thank you. received this evening, so I'll have to review that.
All righty, thank you.
So I'm from Wildan, and we're representing Public Service in a similar proposal. And I wanted to congratulate the township that we've now secured a $248,000 grant, which is double the state's offering of $124,000. It's a lot of work. We did some auditing. We ran through it. I have some documents I passed out. So our approach in reviewing this for the township and for the library was very simple. We looked to do as much as we could and be comprehensive. So with that said, since we're also a direct install contractor for the state and we're aware of their program guidelines, I'd like to summarize it very simply. Had you gone through the state direct install program?
This one.
Yeah, sure.
We're looking at this paper for your reference, if you can follow through.
Yep.
That's like a high-level summary of the overall comparison between the state program and PSENG program. So why don't you go?
Sure. So if you look at the first column that reads NJOCE direct install scope, you'll see 1,045 light fixtures, and you'll see 7 rooftop units. They'll save $34,000, and the co-payment for the district's going to be $53,000. State's going to pick up $124,000, now 10% more because the program changed. Public Service, their program has 94 more light fixtures, has just about double the number of rooftop units, and of course, their total incentive is exactly double, $248,000. So we tried to address, I shouldn't say we tried, we addressed every rooftop unit or mechanical unit in these 3 libraries that are over 10 years old. We looked at their condition, we came up with this proposal, Public Services approved it. We're up against a little bit of a budget deadline with them, where they've secured $16 million to give out in funding. This is probably close to the last project that could get approved. If it got approved tonight, you would get funding. This funding would get approved. If it did not get approved tonight, it's very likely that this funding would not be there. So I don't mean to create a sense of urgency, but I want to be very honest with you that as of right now, this moment, the funding is available, but the funding will not likely be available tomorrow, the next day, next week.
Yeah.
So
No, thank
we
you.
also addressed items in a separate proposal, which we would like to do, which we propose to do concurrently with PSE&G. The remaining 5 items that aren't subsidized, we propose to change them at the same time. So that every single piece of mechanical equipment over 10 years old gets addressed.
One more thing I want to add on the main library. One of the concerns that we heard last time was the large boiler that heats the whole building. Our PSENG proposal includes that at 70-30 kind of there, where you don't have to pay for any upfront cost. It's going to be on bill finance. And the same thing is applicable for Clara Barton. We are replacing that boiler as well, which is already at end of its useful life. So just wanted to highlight because last meeting when we were here, I think that was one of the concerns that we heard from your group here, and just wanted to highlight that.
The feature of this program is on-bill financing for the copayment. So the monthly repayment is $2,965. That number is going to be billed on your bill for 36 months. So there is no initial cost. The
2,900?
2,965.31.
So that's total, if there is no interest, the total is 108,000?
106,669.85 is the customer cost.
Yeah, if you look at this sheet, the numbers are all there.
That is for the PSEG program without the additional AC units, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry, what is the $140,000 for directly beneath?
That's the
106?
remaining 5 mechanical units without a subsidy. But we're going to take advantage of the fact that the crane's going to be there, that all the equipment's being addressed at the same time. You're going to have some a comparable brand warranty. It's going to make sense while you're there doing the major equipment upgrade. Instead of getting 75% of it done, get 100%.
I also have some questions regarding those 5 units. In the paper that sent to us, the 2 units in the main library, one is 30 ton, one is 14 ton, but the model are same. The model of this equipment model is same, like for both.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, typically, I think you are going to have different model for different size of the HVAC, right?
Are you looking at the last 2 items on the main library?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, last 2, yeah.
So the way the configuration is, I apologize because the listed model number is for single condenser that is outsider unit that is there.
Yeah.
That's the model number we put in. The configuration on the second to the last unit that is there, you have a single air handler and there are two condensers outside. They're fitting into the same air handling unit.
Okay.
And so there are 2 of them. That's why it's 28 tons, while the last one is only 1-for-1, meaning like 1 condenser outside and 1 air handling unit inside. So that's the difference. Because even though the model number is the same, but there are 2 of them in the first one and only 1 of them in the last one.
So also, when you replace this HVAC, I want to see like whether you're going to replace. I mean, is this the furnace also included? Like the heating unit?
The boiler is included. So the boiler that you have, the heating boiler that provides the hot water to the coil, hot water heating coil.
Okay, so you are saying that the library we're using the boiler for the heating purpose?
Yes.
Not the forced air?
That's right.
Jan, is the North Edison library's boiler is okay?
That's very old, I need to replace them, that's for
Replace
sure.
also, right? So you're replacing all 3, right?
It's from 1964.
Yeah. Before I born.
Is it listed here? I didn't see
Very
it.
first one.
That's main branch, right?
Mhm.
So the North Edison, what's the heating system? Is it a new boiler or what?
Yeah, you have a existing boiler, which is 840,000 BTU boiler that heats the building and provides the hot water throughout the facility. And, it provides hot water to the heating coil. And you have multiple split units that, provides the cooling.
So how old is that one for the?
1964. If you look at the yellow table.
That's the main library.
Yes.
I'm asking the North branch.
North
the
Edison
second one.
library, he's asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not included. I mean, that is not part of this proposal. We were not able to screen that in it.
Okay, so you didn't check that or like?
If I'm not mistaken, and I have to double check, I believe your heating system in the North Edison library is a gas furnace, like you were saying before. That's kind of what the difference is. Main library and the Clara Barton has the boiler system, while the North branch has gas fire furnace on it.
So in that case, when you replace the HVAC here for the North Edison, will the furnace be included as part of that replacement?
It's a single package unit that will have a furnace as well as the, in the package you will have an air-cooled condenser mounted right on the unit itself.
Okay.
So it does heating and cooling at the same time. It's a different system.
Is that for the heating part, is that a high efficiency one that
Yes.
you're going to replace with?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are including that, and we are also putting in a economizer that goes and it improves further efficiency.
That's a good point.
I have one more question regarding this one. The Clara Barton library, one of the 5 units you are suggesting to replace is the one that the manufacture year is 2008. What's your assessment of the condition for that one? Because it's only like 11 years. Typically, it can last to 20 years.
It's the equipment useful life on this equipment is 15 years, but it's not in a very good condition. Based on our assessment that we have seen, it can certainly use a newer unit. And most important fact that you want to understand here is the existing unit has an efficiency of about 11 SEER, and the new unit will have a 15 SEER efficiency. So SEER is a seasonal energy efficiency ratio.
So I see like for the main library, we have the PSENG to cover for some model that's manufactured 2008. But for the Clara Barton library, for this 2008, do you know why the PSENG does not cover?
So the way it works is you have to, the way it works as a project as a whole, you have to meet the cost-benefit analysis on the project level.
Yeah.
When we started to add certain units in Clara Barton project, by the time we finish adding, one boiler and two HVAC units, the score was already going, south of what is required score by PSENG. So as a result, we were not able to include that unit in PSENG program because it was already deeming to be a non-cost effective at that time. So we were not able to include that. That's why in order to provide you with a complete proposal for any HVAC units that are older than 10 years, we said, okay, let's take an advantage of having a contractor mobilize into your facility and replace everything so you're getting a full package rather than, different age and different level of efficiency of the equipment. So that was the intent here. Does that answer your question?
I think like half of that one. The other half, I'm going to ask you that, the criteria from the PSENG, does that take this, the building's size, like a square feet, into consideration?
It does.
Okay.
It does. The way it works is, there is a science behind it. If you have enough of lighting, so lighting is a lower payback item. So
Yes.
if you have more lighting, it can carry the weight for the HVAC equipment. So if you look at it that way, Clara Barton would have a less number of lighting, and also type of lighting also matters. So it does. That's why we try to, the program basically requires lighting and HVAC to be done in conjunction. So lighting basically help get the HVAC unit screen in. That's how it works. Now, our understanding was your boiler was your focus. So that's why we included the boiler for Clara Barton. and not more focused, like 2008 unit, we said, okay, you know, it's in the program, it's better to replace the boiler, you know, and get 70% for it, while HVAC equipment, we can certainly take care of it as well.
Okay, so the number of AC units for, say, Clara Barton, I mean, since we did not have all of them to be covered by PSNEG, is it I mean, one of the factors can it be because we are having too much units there, or too many units?
I think
capacity, yeah. I look at it this way, I think the capacity is pretty large for that size of the building.
No, I think if you look at the size of it, most of them that we were not able to include, they're all very small units, 5 to 3 ton, 5 ton or 3 ton units. They were not included because they were a smaller unit. Smaller unit, there is a less cost effectiveness because of the, you know, the expense. Units are more expensive and savings are smaller because of the tonnage it carries. So as a result, you know, it doesn't meet the cost benefit analysis. And as far as the sizing is concerned, we are replacing 1-for-1 on the size side because, you know, as this program requires, you know, we are not doing an actual like trying to resize the equipment and all that. The program requires us to match the size because, you know, we don't want to, you know, have your occupants suffer with the undercooling or underheating. That is one thing we want to make sure that you're. Okay. And all of this equipment also is coming up with the economization, which is, you know, which is additional feature that you have that saves about 6 to 9% on energy savings on the gas as well as cooling side. What it does is it in the cooling side, it operates your compressor at a, you know, compressor basically work on the inverted bell curve kind of scenario where some compressor runs at optimal efficiency between 60 to 80% part load condition. And that's what this economization makes sure that happens. And the same thing with the boiler. You know, the combustion efficiency of the boilers are optimal when you go with the economization. So that is also included as a part of this replacement.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to mention one point, because we work in both of these programs, the state program and the PSE&G program. Typically in the state program, economizers are not normally included. Typically in the PSE&G program, economizers are included. Economizers are really a good thing, you know, let in outside air, so you're not heating and cooling. You've got that damper that'll let it in, and you know, so we're including that for the major equipment, you know, where it's needed. So I just wanted to make that point, you know, sort of as a distinction between these two programs. Does anybody have any more questions?
Anyone has any question? Can I have motion to approve one of them?
Before we do that, I would ask Mr. Mazaskis, if you could explain a little bit about this email that you handed out, because I'm reading it over, and I do have a few questions before we start voting on approving one or another. You say here that Wildan had some omissions, that on their proposal, they omitted an HVAC at North Edison. Oh, no, sorry, that's Clara. I'm having trouble understanding this. If you look at your email, the first, also Wildan omitted a 4th HVAC. EPL Clara Barton. Can you walk us through this? I apologize, but I'm just reading this, I'm seeing this now, and it's hard for me to digest the information, and I'm not sure if anyone else feels that way.
Based on an initial document I had, it may have been addressed in a subsequent document, but I just received that package this evening. I'd like to review it because I was not involved in the application process as I have been for the past 10 years. And it's important that I'm involved because I oversee the energy use and conservation of the township as it relates to a variety of grants, especially Sustainable Jersey and the Green Team. As a matter of fact, once this project is completed, I'll be able to update our energy uses and conservation report, and with that, we'll be able to move on to the next step of benchmarking. So it's important that I be involved with this. And I realized that the application was approved, but I never saw it. So I'd like some time to, I know that time is of the essence here with this program because the funding works differently than with the state program. I did work with PSG a little bit in the past. That wasn't entirely successful, but I think this will be better. But I would like to review that information. I had hoped to meet with them prior to this evening, and we had discussed that, but I just got the package this evening, so I'd like to see if that addresses the issues and concerns that I had based on the information that I had at the time.
At this point, do you have a recommendation as to which program would be better?
As I said, I just received the information this evening, and I haven't had the chance to review it, and I would like to review it.
And how much time would you need to review this? Would we be able to have like a meeting in another, could we have an emergency meeting in a week or two to
Yeah,
revisit
that would be.
A special meeting, sorry, a special meeting.
Yeah, that would be fine. That would be fine. I'll have time. Like I just received
What would be
it.
different? Is state going to cover more?
Excuse me?
Because no, is the state going to cover more equipment? Because right now, the way I look at this proposal is that we have the state, which doesn't cover pretty much anything.
Well, they are
Right,
they are going into the new program now,
Yeah,
which
but-
could go up to 80.
I understand that, Chris, right?
Right.
But the thing is, they didn't cover anything in the first, so I don't think so you got the very best of the state for the first time. Now we have this bid, which makes sense. It's a very good bid. It makes sense for us because we have been looking at this energy efficiency for the last 1.5 years. We've been screaming about going to LED, getting better cost savings because we pay about more than nearly $150,000 a year on our bills, right? So at this point in time, the only thing we have is you have not looked at the proposal, but these are both state or PSCNG
No,
programs. are like pretty
that's
much-
not it. What I'm saying is that I was presented with additional information this evening. And many of the questions that I had, that I presented this, I didn't have that information. So I'd
Okay.
like to review that because it may very well address many, if not most, of my concerns in
Yeah,
this.
absolutely. So
And
why
I
don't
just
we
like
do-
that consideration because I've been the one that's been responsible for developing and submitting energy conservation grants and programs over the past 10 years. And I'll continue to do that on behalf of the township since it is a township building. All
So,
three of them are township buildings.
Without reviewing a package, you wrote this long email telling us all the bad things about the PSCNG
Not bad
program.
things. It's not bad things.
So,
These
but
are
without
just some
reviewing the package, you
issues and
could write such a
concerns
long email?
that were raised. There are just some issues and concerns that were raised.
Without reviewing the package, you could just come up with all these things.
Excuse me?
I said, without reviewing the package, you could
I
just
didn't
come
have the
back.
package. All I had was a single document.
Okay,
I had a single document, and based on that, those issues and concerns were raised. This evening, I received a lot of information. I just like the opportunity to review that.
absolutely. So why don't we do one thing? We can go ahead and vote on this,
Yeah.
and then Chris, work with them and, get
Sure.
your concerns answered.
As I said, I'd hoped to meet with them prior
Sure,
to this,
Absolutely. So
but I just
I
got
would
the
like to
information this
propose-
evening.
I'm not understanding you.
I said I'd like to get this to a
We're going to
vote.
give Chris time to give us his expert opinion on it while he reviews it. How
No,
can we
wha-
vote?
how-
No,
how-
here's the
how many
thing.
days you will wait
It is in
for
black
this,
and white, right? So I'm not sure why would anything change. We have a proposal which covers everything, gets us energy efficient, gets us green. It covers everything, and I do understand Chris wants to work with them and get his concerns answered. That's fine. I'm not against that. I'm all for it.
Well,
Okay,
there are
but
two
at this
different
point, we have a proposal which makes more sense, which is, pretty much zero, except if we go for the whole thing, it's $140,000 for nearly $5 million worth of proposal that we're getting. So
Well,
why wouldn't we just go ahead and vote for
I
it?
think the question also is that the entire thing, or will there be something added to it if they are, if they did miss something, if something was omitted? So maybe we need to see if anything was omitted. Maybe this is exactly what it will be, and Chris didn't have all the information ahead of time.
I think I
But wouldn't
can,
it be responsible of us to make sure that we have all of the information, have it analyzed first, and then vote on something knowing that we did the right thing? Instead of finding out later that, oh, they forgot something, and if we add it on, it will cost X amount more.
We don't, at that point, actually, right now, all the units are listed, right, Anya? So what I
Yes.
would say
Are
is,
Yes.
Are they all listed?
yes.
I would like to bring this up to vote.
Yeah.
So I'll pass a resolution to,
Let
sorry,
me
go
ask,
ahead.
Just-
let me
can I
one more
ask a-
question? Let me ask one question, Chris. I mean, I think you probably have this paper sheet, right? This sheet.
I don't know which sheet you have.
The one that provided to us.
No, I don't have, I have that one now. I received that this evening. I just got that this evening. Prior to that, I had a different document, similar, but it didn't have as much detail in it. So I received that and that other blue page and some other documents, and I'd like to, just a chance to review them, that's all. Yeah.
Now,
No, I
how
didn't
much-
have the extended one here.
How much time would you need to review this?
Just give me a week. We'll meet next week. That'd be fine.
Can we give him a week?
Not if you're going to lose the funding.
Your funding won't be there in a week.
Yeah, that's why I think
Won't be there
we
in
should
3
not
days.
wait for.
I think this is more of, we got a proposal which, we got a better proposal, and now we're just trying to push this around. What I would say is, Chris, I really want you to work with them, get to know them, get to make sure that everything is there, but at the same time, in the interest of the library, I think we're going to vote on this.
That's your
And
decision.
we'll see where it goes from there.
Motion to approve?
Can I ask a question? For the energy saving program has passed, right? So right now, if we apply for the 2019, 2090?
Yeah, I can address that for you.
Oh,
So in both cases, both the state program and the PSE&G program, the fiscal year for the state program is over, but a new fiscal year has started.
so we need to reapply?
You
no
would
matter
need to
which-
you would need to reapply for the state program. The
So-
PSE&G program, you've been through the entire vetting process. You have the agreements in your hand. The funding will be gone shortly.
And one thing I want to add to that, fiscal year 20 program, because we are also a contractor on that. Our experience states that we have already done a dozen of the projects in that program with municipality. And what we are noticing is that whatever you got last year, you're probably going to get the similar things. Even though it says up to 80% screening, the tool remain the same because the screening criteria or cost-benefit analysis remain the same. So you are going to get the same or slightly less because the HVAC pricing is increased by 7.5%. That is one thing that has happened in the negotiation of a new program when it opened up.
For the state.
For the state side of it. So that is something that, these are the facts. These are the things that we have seen in our experience in last 8 days when the program has opened up. So, as Jeff had mentioned, you run in the risk of, exhausting the funding on PSE&G program. That's kind of what we would suggest.
And there's capacity rewards program too?
No.
Yeah, so only the state program does not, the state program will, ownership of the PJM, he's calling it capacity rewards, but it's the PJM energy efficiency incentive, which would be between 1 and 1.5 cents per watt saved as a revenue, an annual revenue for 4 years. So it's a couple $1,000s. I'm not trying to dismiss it. We've successfully given it out to customers, but it's very small when you consider the $248,000 up for grabs through PSE&G, the on-bill financing, twice as much equipment, 100 more light fixtures. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And I feel terrible pressuring you folks to make a decision. We jump through hoops with public service to make sure that they approve this timely, and frankly, you guys have been moved to the front of the class to get this thing approved. So I have a proposal for you. One last thing I wanted to mention, and it's kind of got glanced over, and I want to be kind of clear. The reason why there's only 7 mechanical units in the state program is because the state has rules about the size of the equipment that they're willing to subsidize. So only 3 to 25-ton rooftop units, only split systems up to 15-ton get approved. 1,500,000 BTH boilers get approved. You have much more broader size array of equipment, which basically double the equipment, 13 instead of 7 units got approved through PSE&G. So their test, their litmus test is a PAC test. It's not as stringent, you know, so we got more equipment approved, we got double the incentive. You know, this is your shot, you know, to get your libraries up to ASHRAE 90.1 2013, the latest and greatest energy code. I suggest you take it.
Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
Regarding the state program, the list in this spreadsheet is this one. The number and the exact units that will be replaced by the state program, is that matching with the document that we had, I think, last meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, we reviewed
I
that.
don't remember the detail of that proposal, but this is a good comparison. It's very helpful.
Right. Also wanted to, you know, acknowledge the fact that you have mentioned before, we'll work very closely with Chris. You know, that's not the intention not to, we'll work with Chris to iron out all the details that is included in the proposal that we have provided. And we're happy to, you know, elaborate a further meeting with Chris and make sure that he's satisfied with all the items that we are providing as a part of our proposal.
Any other question?
It's unfortunate that we weren't able to meet before this, and I wasn't more involved with the application process, because I think if we had, it would have addressed many of the questions that I raised here.
Yeah.
So I look forward to working with you. I think it's an improved program. I think Willdan is no issue with Willdan. They're a national and possibly international company.
Thank you, Chang.
National company all over
Thank
the
you,
country.
gentlemen.
More than qualified.
Yeah, thank you very much for your information.
Thank you.
Just
I'd like to motion
have
to
one
approve.
comment. Can I have one? No question, I just comment my thought on this one. The way I looked at the detail of this spreadsheet this afternoon, the way I look at it is that compare the state versus the PSE&G program, the cost to us is around like addition of like around 53,000, but we're going to get like I think 7 new units. So that's the way I'm looking at it. So to help everyone to understand.
Thank you. Yeah, so let's go for.
I'd like to propose a resolution to vote on the Wilden program to include all the equipment as well as the lighting for LED.
Okay, roll call, please.
Suzanne,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Pat,
Yes.
Vasant.
Vasant,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Neville,
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was easy. Next item on the agenda is Job Corps email response.
Oh, yes, last meeting, Sue mentioned about the Job Corps email regarding we rejected their patrons. So I emailed back, you saw that email already. We never reject any from them. We just have some issues with them years ago because some of them never returned. We have issue with them. So in the old time, their president applied for ID for a library card, and she take care of all the patrons who from them. So take all the books under her name. And after that, she realized there's a lot of books that she actually got a lot of fine. So she retired. So now they have a new president. I talked with the person who is their liaison. We have a good conversation, and she's going to talk with their president to see what we can do with them, and we try to help them out. But we never reject them. That's the bottom line.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Anybody from the public want to be heard?
Please.
Hi, Mary Ellen Spitzmiller, Woodbridge Avenue, Edison. I have a question. I know you don't usually answer questions, but you said your bookmobiles, you're going to get two smaller. Can I ask how?
Yes, let me clarify, because there's a lot of buzz going around, and I'm not sure if people are aware of what we have planned. We had a bookmobile which required a CDL license.
Yes, you did.
It was a 40 feet long bookmobile. When we met, what we decided to serve Edison more efficiently, we thought we would buy a bookmobile which does not require a CDL license, but in exchange, to accommodate that, I think we lose about 6 feet. To accommodate that 6 feet, the cost saving was so much that we could have two. So in that way, we would be able to serve Edison better with two.
So
mobile
you're
libraries.
saying the ones you're talking about is about 36 feet then?
30 feet approximately.
30 feet,
30
okay.
feet.
No, and my concern, and that's not horrible, is that you have stops that you have 50 to 75 people come on the bus. Would they be able to accommodate that many people?
We might not be able to accommodate 50 to 75 people, I guess, because it's smaller, but we'll gain efficiency in the way is for the functioning of the bookmobile, we'll gain a lot of efficiency. We had staffing issue because we needed staff with CDL licenses, and we would lose them. And in that way, you will get better service with a smaller mobile library, which we have seen actually it's been adopted by all urban areas. And so you'll get a better service with this. You might not be able to accommodate 70 people at a time, but it'll be there very often.
Now, a 36-foot one, would they have an enter and an exit area, or is it just one door that you enter and exit at?
We have not gotten to all those things. We have not gotten, actually, we just got our budgetary numbers to make sense that the couple of issues we faced with our old bookmobile was it was built in Colorado. So when it went lemon, we had a lot of issues going back and forth. And so now we have a way to procure within New Jersey, fabricate within New Jersey, so we have a better service. And we have not gone to the point where we have decided on the layout as of yet, because we are still waiting for feedback to come back from the staff. But once we have that, then we'll start working on the layout. At that point, we'll be able to answer that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Anyone else?
Robert Robbins, 104 Faith Street, Edison. Question with these bookmobiles, just to keep this in mind, do you have a program where you're going to store both of the 36-foot bookmobiles? That we only have the one garage at the main library where we put the one? Just to keep that in mind, if we're going to plan on getting new bookmobiles, we also need to know where we're going to store them to keep them safe.
That's an excellent question, right? So to be true, we have not reached that stage as of yet, right? Right now, we're just in the initial stages of running the budget numbers, make sure it makes sense out of it, and what we can accomplish. At that point, obviously, when your feedback comes in, we'll answer all those things right there.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And thank you for approving this upgrade. The libraries definitely need this upgrade. I can attest with the boiler at the main library. I deal with it every winter, so thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Anyone else? Yeah.
Good evening, Esther Nemitz, 162B Faith Street. I appreciate the fact that you're trying to have a new bookmobile program, if you will, and that you are looking to service the town perhaps in a more comprehensive way by having the north served one way and the south served another way. I hope that this is going to work out. I'm hoping that before you all approve something, that we will have a chance to take a look at what it is that you're approving. Because so far, the way things are getting approved up here is still, from my point of view, a little haphazard. I don't think that there is really enough conversation and analysis of the things that you're spending money on so that everybody really understands, first of all, what you're doing, and the public understands what you're doing. All right. I have not at all been satisfied. As much as I know that all of these improvements that you approved tonight for the boilers and the HVACs and the lighting, et cetera, the kind of pressure under which you made this this approval is not the way things should be done. This is really inappropriate from my point of view. And it's not that I don't think that you need it. I know you need it. But the way you've handled it is really not adequate. You need to work on getting your act together more comprehensively. You've got somebody here who's responsible for the township buildings, and you didn't give him proper due and make sure that he got proper information to advise you the way he should be advising you. Now, if you're going to do the same kind of thing with the bookmobiles and you're just going to, we're just going to get two and they're going to be this way and we're going to approve it, and nobody knows exactly what it is, and these outstanding questions are, well, where are you going to put them? And you haven't decided anything, and if you come back and decide something without making proper decisions about this, I'm going to be up here again, saying I really have questions about how you're doing business here, because you're spending the township's money, and how you spend the township's money that they give you, all these tax dollars that you get, matters to people. People care, and people want the bookmobiles, but they also want things done in a rational, business-like manner here. All right, and you need to keep working harder on getting this done.
No, actually,
I don't know
Esther,
whether you need more committee meetings ahead of time before you make these decisions, or what it is that you need, but I haven't been satisfied, so.
Just I wanted to answer. Yeah, so for the energy things, we had a couple of meetings. I believe 3 or more meetings we have done. For bookmobile, we are doing a lot of analysis. Our committee is set up there. They're working very hard to find out in a different ways how we can support. So we value, because it's my tax money, it's their tax money, and it's your tax money. We value each penny of this town. So it is not true that we are not valuing taxpayers' money, because it is going from my pocket also, as well as your pocket also. So I respect what you are saying, but we are trying our level best to support the town. That's what our job.
And one more thing, Esther,
I appreciate what you're saying, and that doesn't mean that I'm satisfied, and it's not that I don't think you have your heart in the right place, but your head is not where your heart is. All right, you need to get your act together about how you go about making these decisions and how you get the information and the way that you put it together so that it is timely and appropriately presented. All right, there needs to be a better way to do this. If you come back and we haven't seen what these bookmobiles look like, because you haven't showed us a thing, and you approve something that nobody has seen, I'm going to be up here complaining, because that's not the way to do it. We need to see what it is you're approving about these bookmobiles. You have an idea. So far, I hear that you have an idea.
All we have is an idea. Actually,
that's right. You have an idea.
Once we get to some point, we'll open up for public comment. We'll put it out.
All right.
There.
Did anybody go to Washington to see if there were some examples that would meet those 36-foot requirements or 30-foot requirements that you have? Did anybody go down to talk to bookmobile vendors?
Actually, Esther, I did look it up online when they were having that conference. There was only going to be one bookmobile vendor there throughout the whole time the conference was on. Just one.
Okay.
They were not having more than one.
All right.
So I did
Have we found out how many bookmobile vendors there are that can provide this type of bookmobile service that you're considering?
There is one down in North Carolina. There's nothing much around here except for what Neville
There's
has
one in
found.
New
There's the
Jersey.
one
There are a
the
couple in
Midwest.
New York. So we have a whole list. Once we get to that point. Right now, we're just trying to figure out what will serve Edison the most efficient way.
All right, well,
Most
when you come back with a list, I'm going to put it in an Oprah because I'm going to want to see what it is.
Yes.
All right, and I'm going to want to see the figures, and I'm going to want to see what it is that people will be getting for the money that you're going to be spending, okay? Because this is really going to be important. There are a lot of people in town who remember what it was like to have the bookmobile. And I've had a few people say to me, I remember when the bookmobile used to come in my neighborhood, you know, and we always had the kids there, and in the summer, you know, they could go out and get in the bookmobile and, you know, get a chance to pick out their books. So we need to go back to that kind of service, but we need to make sure that we've planned well for this, whatever it is, okay? And not that we just up and, you know, under pressure of some kind, you know, or off the top of our head. I certainly haven't been satisfied with some of the information that was presented about, well, we're going to build walls. I mean, now, really. And I tried to Oprah, and I was told, no, there's no information. Now, that's no good. You know, there's got to be information if you're going to be looking to do stuff. So thank you very much. Keep working at it, okay? You know that I support the bookmobile. And at Clara Barton, we have our meeting this Thursday night, so we will be discussing this, I'm sure, because I will mention it at our meeting. It is in my agenda for Thursday's meeting, and we're going to keep paying attention, and I will especially let them know that you have made an approval to do the repairs to the library for the boilers and the HVAC, and I will wait to hear what you're going to do about the other things that need to be done there, because we have some other problems there that need to be attended to. All right, and they need to be done in a way that you say specifically, here's what needs to be done, this is how it's going to be done, and this is what it's going to cost, and there needs to be a plan for those other things that need to be done, all right, that people understand clearly. So I'm looking forward to it, and we will be discussing it Thursday night. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah, please.
Good evening, Marianne Hennessy, Carmelo Drive. I'd like to do a little follow-up on Esther's discussion with bookmobiles. My understanding is the bad bookmobile got you back almost every penny that it cost, which was $300 and some $1,000. Am I correct?
I'm sorry?
It was. Okay. Why not? Have you done a demographics discussion as to the volume use of the bookmobiles in the north or south?
Just to correct you, we did not get all the money back.
No, I realized there was a slight difference. It wasn't the whole total amount.
We on that of that attorney fees and everything, we lost a bunch of it, but that's the way it was.
I understand that, but what I also wanted to understand is the library route for the bookmobile covers both north and south. Have you looked at how much more one area has than the other, that perhaps you would consider getting a larger bookmobile for that area and a smaller one for the area that doesn't do as much business in the bookmobile?
Rather than asking questions, I think if you could address comments and your suggestions, that would be better for the board, rather than, we don't do a give and take. So that would be a suggestion, if you could just make suggestions or say your comments rather than ask questions.
Then what I just said goes as a suggestion, that you take and you review the difference between the north and the south usage, and it might be worth it to do a larger bookmobile in the one area that has the higher volume. And another thing, you have a capital budget.
Again, if you could just address.
I'm simply asking a question. Do you have a capital budget?
Questions in the public comment section. It's the opportunity for the public to make comments. The board's not going to answer questions.
Forget it.
Anyone else?
There's the New Jersey Library Capital Grant. It's in the public register now for comment for 60 days, starting July 1st, and then another 90 days of review. perhaps I could just suggest you get one bus now and think of getting the grant for the second bus, and it'll fund up to 50%.
Okay.
How about that?
Thank you.
Okay, and I've been keeping Jane advised on that. I've been in touch with the New Jersey State Library, which oversees it. Jane has also, and I just downloaded a copy of the New Jersey Register, so I'm reviewing it, and I'll add my comments
Perfect.
to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks for this information. Anyone else? Anyone else wants to speak?
I just had one quick thing, actually, I wanted to bring up. I know Mr. Joshi had brought this up over here as well as at the council meeting, and that was about moving the account to BCB. So I did reach out to BCB Bank. They sent me the details that we needed, and we've not got a chance to thoroughly vet it out against the TD Bank. So we are hoping that sometimes we should have it in the next week or so with David. And then, he will be able to present a whole layout. David, do you have any comments on that right now?
For that one, as I asked, I do need to meet with them to have more information. Yeah.
But I need to clarify that board never approved we use the BCB Bank. We haven't done that. I think.
No, that is true,
Councilman
Jane.
Joshi,
Actually,
you made
once
the
we have all
wrong-
the details, then we can recommend to the board, and then board can vote on it.
Who did you speak to from BCB?
When I reached out to them, the lady who sent me the details, her name was Rekha.
Yeah, she's one of the managers.
Her title shows VP or something like that.
Yeah.
So we reached out to her, and she gave me all the breakdowns on their side. We're just waiting to get it from the TD Bank side so we could do a apple-to-apple comparison.
Okay, great, thanks.
I think regarding that one, I want to clarify. In addition to Jane's comment, I do watch the video for the city council meeting. I think we needed to clarify that one because the board, last time when you referred these things for us to discuss, the board was asking Jane to take a look at it. So I think earlier this year, it was initially Unity Bank that you referred. So from that one, she did take a look at it, and her decision was not moving at that time, and the board never voted to require her to move the account to that bank. So on that matter, I would not say because you mentioned that Jane is defining the order of the board, which I don't think that's the factor. So I want to clarify on this point. And on that matter, I would say, we want, from the board, we want to leave the decision for those details for the Jane to decide, for the library director to decide. If it's against, based on her criteria or her judgment, we should not pressure her to do it in a different way. Thank you.
Thank you.
So my only response to that would be that we should be mindful of the type of votes that we take, because when any governing body votes on something, it is an actionable item and it should be executed as such. So in this specific case, we did, because I went through the video a couple months ago, we did vote when the BCB Bank individual was here to have those funds transferred. And it's perfectly fine if the board or the director feels that there are certain things that they want to look at to get to that point. I'm just saying that before we vote, let's make sure that we're actually going to execute on how we vote. So therefore, I stand by exactly what I said.
I think my understanding of that vote is ask Jane to take a look at it to see whether we can move that account to that local bank or not. will not vote to require her to do that.
Actually, let's just get through this jam lock. What I would suggest is that we have the information. I've sent it over to Fran and Jen to forward it to the whole board, so they can take a look at it. David will do some work with TD Bank to make sure we have a comparison. The whole board would have it. At next meeting, if we feel that's the right strategy, then we'll just vote on it and move forward with that.
That's the detailed, side on how to do things. What I want to clarify is that when a decision, or like when, say, for example, the action taken by Jane is different from what your expectation, you can talk to Jane, try to get it resolved, but I will not say in the city council that Jane is defying the board's.
I would like to know why, if we already voted, and we did vote to move the money, why has it not been done? I'm not questioning if it's fine. I'm not putting a name on it, but why didn't it happen already?
I don't think we voted to move the account
We did.
to the BCB. I think we voted to let her to take a look at it, to check that.
Okay, I want to, look, there's no reason for us to go back and forth. I think we all want the same thing, which is the funds should be in an account that is beneficial for the township with the highest interest rate.
No, that's what I said in the last meeting. What I said is that interest rate is one factor. The reason I'm requesting more information from the bank is that I want to check to me, the safety of the account is also a factor, because the amount is well over the FDIC insurance limit. So that means for our account, there is a certain risk to that one. That's the reason I want to take more information from that bank. Because a different bank, they do have different risk level.
So everything you're saying is fine. I'm okay with that. But the message that you're trying to get across is that you wanted more information. And I'm okay with that. I understand that. We all want that. I'm simply trying to say that when you go back to the previous meetings, the vote that was taken was to transfer the funds. And it's understandable now that we have not done it.
And we do have one account,
Okay.
which is below that, I believe, below that 250,000 limit. That's being moved to that bank. But when it's above that one, I do need more information.
And that's fine. That's
account is
completely
that?
fine.
I think that we were discussing that also with community engagement
Yes.
at that particular time. I remember that vote. It had to do with community engagement too, not just the percentage-wise and everything. It had to do with what they would do to present, what they would do to help us out within the community, what action things they would do also along with the percentage rate.
So why don't you,
Correct.
Jane, go back, take a look at it, and if you have voted on it,
You can
please,
check our
please do,
minutes.
please do what the board approved. And if we have not voted on it, David would have a better view for us, like next meeting, and then we all
Yeah.
can get together and vote on
That's
it.
what I'm saying. I needed to get more information to take the risk as a factor, not just the interest rate.
And also our foundation is recommended to use the BCB. It's already using it.
Okay.
If we voted already on it, just
No, I
please
don't
bring the
think
note
we
to bring
voted
the
for
information
Yeah,
back.
make the
whatever the
final
comment-
decision, because it's community passes the amount of money. There's so many elements we need to consider, not only the rate. At that time, I compared the rate from Unity, the councilman recommend, and I compared the rate, contact the TD Bank, and then we talk about that interest. And then we said we need to make more research on, to compare those banks to see. I think, yeah, the safety is the most key element we need to consider.
Any other announcement anyone wants to make? No? Yeah. Motion to close public.
I'll make a motion that we close the public portion of the meeting.
Second.
Okay.
Second? All in favor?
Second. Aye.
Thank you very much, everyone.
A motion to go into closed session, too.
Well, yeah, a motion to go to the closed
I
session.
make, I'm so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.